Well, you all might be thinking to yourselves, this is a story time video. Why are you doing this setup since you never do it? Well, I wanted to let you know that we were actually planning on getting that first Q&A video out. What the heck? We decided that Woomy should do it instead of Isaac, because Woomy's the new mascot of the channel. And B, the original title, Ask Isaac, is something that sounded like something from another YouTuber who's actually in the Go Anime community. And he's one of the most popular people in there, except not the most subscribed person. That would go to this guy right here. But anyways, let's see what questions we got today, shall we? This random guy I met at VidCon asks, what is Ligma? Now, just so you know, I don't want to get demonetized like some other people, but if you want to know what Ligma is, go watch some Ninja, or... Whoops. Sorry guys, I actually have a cold right now, and it causes me to cough a lot. Yeah. Or, if you really want to, look into meme culture. Even though today's memes are filled with I'm head out memes, iPhone 11 and 11 Pro Max memes, people who would think Minecraft is superior to Fortnite, although I can understand that claim. But I miss the days where there was simpler memes, like the Protogent Rap, DC Dab, Afterlife in the Limelight, but that's only if you're in the Object Show community. But it's still classified as a meme, though, and back in the day when I was stupid, I really wanted Behind a Meme to take a look at this, even though he'd normify it. And literally anything that has to do with Lazy Town. But those memes are still popular, even though they were popular mainly because Stefan Carl died. May he rest in peace. Next up, this other guy I met at VidCon asked me what my favorite color is. Well, this might sound obvious, but for me, I'd say orange. Woomy, he was asking what my favorite color is. Whoops, sorry. Anyways, that would be red. Oh, okay. Next, an old fan of my channel asks multiple questions which take up a good chunk of this video. First one he asked is, what are my thoughts on the remaining animated movies coming out this year? You know, just for good measure, I'm going to do, like, mainstream movies that are coming out later this year. You know, because Isaac Reviews is all-inclusive. Wait, no, I don't want to go back to that slide. So at the time, the next animated film I was going to watch was The Lion King. It sucked. Let's move on now. Then there was Dora and the Lost City of Gold. It's sort of like a Teen Titans Go to the Movies scenario where you think it'll suck at first based on the show it's based on, but then it actually turns out to be pretty good. Moving on. Then we had the Angry Birds movie too, and it's in the leagues of movies that I find to be terrible that just about everyone else seems to love. Yeah, it sucked, which is disappointing considering what Sony Animation gave us just last year. Oh well, even Spider-Man can get himself into some mediocrity sometimes. And the actual next animated film coming out this year is none other than Abominable. Okay, let me just say this right now. It will not, and I repeat, it will not be as good as what DreamWorks gave us earlier this year. But I'll admit, it does look kind of silly, but at the same time, it's got an interesting premise. Alright, next, we have The Addams Family getting an appropriate October release. Look, I'm so glad that Illumination doesn't own this movie anymore. I mean, they can make some movies, but that's only the best case scenario. The worst case scenario, they make some real stinkers. But even if it's not owned by Illumination anymore, yeah, it still looks like a very bad adaptation with a story that's just like the characters are really different, and then they go somewhere, and the villain thinks they aren't good. They're gonna be a menace to everyone around them, so they do what they can to get rid of them. I think. Yeah, I totally haven't seen that story done before, and actually done pretty okay. Yeah, this looks bad. Let's move on now. Then we have Maleficent, Mistress of Evil. Yeah, let me just say this right now. Who asked for a sequel to Maleficent? I mean, it's one of the Disney live-action remakes, but not the kind that rakes in a buttload of Franklins at the box office, even though I wouldn't be surprised if it did that, but I'm too lazy to check my sources, so yeah. But this is one of the forgotten remakes, like Christopher Robin. Even though I adore Christopher Robin, it was one of my favorite movies of 2018, in the ranks of, like, all these movies. But yes, this movie does not look like a pretty good sequel. After that, we have... Hey, man, there's a movie that's trying to dethrone us to be the worst animated movie of our recent times. What do you think about that? Well, it'll take a lot to dethrone us in terms of how awful we are, but it looks like it's putting in a good effort based on the trailers. Alright, YouTube movies, you've had enough screen time. Go back to the $5 bargain bin where you belong. Wouldn't be surprised if this ends up there too. And then we have Frozen 2. I understand that, for... Why did my voice sound so much like Isaac back there? Anyways, I understand that the target, that Isaac, my main man here, that I sound like way more than I should, is currently 12, and he's in 7th grade. And people around that age spectrum seem to displease the first movie. But, whoops, sorry. In fact, this one kid Isaac knows, who's in his age group, would outright refuse to see this movie, either because of the reason I discussed, or he just doesn't like movies that are really vague in terms of plot. But still, what were my thoughts on the first movie? I'll admit, the voice acting was good, songs were okay, the animation was fantastic, but most of the characters were bland and the story was really bad. But hey, at least I judged it based on its quality, because it's usually judged by middle schoolers who think that if it's not 4K graphics, then it's terrible. Even though, if you know me, I'd know that there are plenty of video games out there that don't have 4K HD graphics and turned out to be cult classics. But anyways, even with the vague plot details, it could turn out okay. It actually looks better than I thought it would be, and it could even be better than the first movie. Then we have Playmobil, the movie. I understand that this movie already got its wide release in the UK, but bear in mind here, I'm not British. I'm from the United States. So, because of that, it would be out if it weren't for STX buying the film and not being able to handle movies close to each other. So, now it's been moved all the way to Christmas, or at least near Christmas. But it just looks like the poor man's version of something of better quality. Sort of like the toys they're based on, but even though I played with Playmobil as a kid, so I might find nostalgic appeal in the movie, but yeah, I think you get where I'm going here. Then we have Shaun the Sheep 2. This seems like an interesting case scenario, because when it comes to the releases, because once again, in the UK, it releases in October, but here in the US, it's released in freaking Christmas. Even though it got its first trailer in the US all the way back in February 2018. But anyways, whoops, sorry, I meant to go that side earlier. When it comes to the first movie, it was pretty good to say the least. So I'm pretty sure this will probably be weaker based on the story that I've already predicted, but still looks decent. Then we have Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker. I'll admit, it probably won't be as bad as any of these movies, but hate me all you want, this is probably gonna suck. Let's move on. Then we have, okay, nothing to see here. And last we have Spies in Disguise. Right on Christmas, in fact. The release date is pretty bad considering how it's right next to Rise of Skywalker, but it actually looks good. And then he asked, what cartoons do I watch? Well, this may sound like a surprise, but back in the day, I was really into SpongeBob. And sure, I was growing up in the midst of post-movie, where Patrick became one of the most unlikable animated characters I've ever seen. But during pre-movie, when Steven Hillenburg was around, and when he returned until he died, may he rest in peace, the show was actually good. And it started to pick up in quality after the second movie, which... Hey guys, Isaac here. Fun fact, did you know that movie was released on my birthday? Alright, Isaac, I think they might know if they watch a lot of your videos. Even if the series might take a dive in quality with that disrespectful spin-off. Yeah. But Isaac has had interest in watching The Last Airbender, which he heard is a really good Western anime, considering the fact that the only two animes he's ever seen are the Pokemon anime and the Kirby anime. But with the Pokemon anime, hey, give it this. At least it taught him Bonsley's crying ability, even though I don't think Bonsley has a crying ability in the games. Number 3, what are your thoughts on Minions 2? Why does Illumination need to make a sequel to the worst movie they've ever put out? Oh yeah, I can tell. They like money. Yeah, I think the sequel is going to be the worst movie of 2020. Sort of like how the original was the worst movie of 2015, even though these movies were also there, but I still have yet to see them. But yeah, people are giving their concerns about the next SpongeBob movie because it takes place in the same time zone as that disrespectful spin-off. But I'm hoping it turns out okay. And number 4, will I ever watch Megamind? As long as I have a streaming service that streams that movie, then I'll watch it. Up next, this may not be a question, but this one person said, hi, I'm not too sure if you remember us, but you came up to me and my friend Maddie today by the food trucks because of our Splatoon 2 shirt, so yeah, bye. Well, at least your friend has good taste in games, because when it comes to Splatoon 2, not only am I from it, but here's a fact. The Octolings are stone cold foxes in that game. They're so hot. But hey, at least your friend has good taste in video games, right? Now on to the story. So, this takes place at school. Alright, my turn. This takes place at school. And, I was in my 5th period class. LA Enrichment. And enrichments were pretty much like our extensions. So, there was this kid, we'll call him William. William was being an absolute butthead in the hallway while we were walking to the library, just crashing into walls like he was having a hangover. But by the time we got to the library, things only went from bad to worse. Now, first of all, there's another kid, we'll call him Tyler. He was arguing with one of the teachers because the teacher didn't want him to sit next to someone, and he refused, and he almost had to go down to the dean's office for that. But then, he and William got into some sort of full-fledged argument, and then it turned to an outright fight. No, it's not just some idiots trying to duke it out, even though when I get into fights, there's 2 idiots there. A, the people who I'm fighting with, and B, presumably me, because I have ADHD. No offense to people with ADHD, though. I'm pretty sure a lot of you can be great people. But it wasn't just idiots duking it out. It was a full-on fist fight. But the teachers were able to shut it down pretty fast. Even me, because I tried breaking it up, and I almost got hit in the face. But then, William took it as an opportunity to Naruto run outside of our school. I'm not sure if he was found, but the moral of the story is... yeah, if you want to try and break up a fight, that's great. But take in the risks while you're at it. And also... when your library starts turning into New York City by then, it's probably best just to lay low. That's going to do it for this video, guys. By the way, if you have any questions for Woomy, put them in the comments. But thank you all for watching, and I will make sure you subscribe, post notifications, all that stuff, and I'll see you next time. Bye.